Hi, welcome to 321 Connection. We have a guest today. Her name is Cheryl Levy. She'll be talking about storytelling. So tell me how you got into storytelling.
Well, I got into storytelling because I get to do crazy things like this. Be glad your nose is on your face, not pasted on some other place. For if it were where it is not, you might dislike your nose a lot. Imagine if your precious nose were sandwiched in between your toes. That clearly would not be a treat, for you'd be forced to smell your feet. Your nose would be a source of dread were it placed atop your head, for it would drive you to despair, forever tickled by your hair. Within your ear, your nose would be an absolute catastrophe, for when you were obliged to sneeze, achoo, your brain would rattle in the breeze. Your nose instead, through thick and thin, remains between your eyes and chin, not pasted on some other place. Be glad your nose is on your face, by Jack Perlutsky. You see, I get to teach and work with people of all ages and teach in a fun way, and with my puppets and the stories. And that's a good one I like to use when I'm subbing in the schools, where I'll say to kids, you know, when you go home tonight, are your parents going to ask you, did you learn anything at school today? And how many times did you say, nothing, right? Yeah. Would they ask you that question? But just as one of the guys said, she said, did you used to sub in the Midland Public Schools, and did you tell that story about the ogre in Spanish? That's what people remember, are the stories. And so I've been storytelling all my life, really.
Wow.
But I do it. I get to do it now. They sometimes pay me money for it, but I get to do it with kids of all ages.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, where do you usually tell stories about?
I tell them about anywhere they ask me to tell them, but mainly during the school year, I am known as Mrs. Puppets in the Midland Public Schools, and I have a collection of about 100 puppets of all sizes and shapes and everything, and I take them in. So I do that. But I also, for many years, taught beginning acting camps at the Center for the Arts, and now I'm teaching one at the North Midland Community Center. I've been doing that this summer. I have taught at Creative 360 and told stories at Creative 360. And then I've gone to nursing homes, and any place they ask me, I go and tell stories.
Wow.
But my stories, I told stories at River Day, but what I like to do is I like to involve people in my stories, whether it's an audience participation story or whether I take a bunch of puppets and I hand them out, I don't really hold a puppet very much. I have the kids in the classroom or everything, like, you know, they're the ones that act out the story with me. And even the littlest ones, you watch their parents when you give a toddler a duck and all they have to do is quack. Why? The parents think that's so cool. And I'll tell, you know, and all my stories, I try to choose stories that have important lessons in them, like the importance of working together, the importance of standing up to a bully. A lot of my stories are about how the littlest guy or the ones that other people pick on can stand up and save the others or teach the bully a lesson.
Wow.
So it's important that my stories represent, you know, yeah, sure, they're fun, but I also want people to learn something from them. And I also want to give children a permission, and even older people, permission to sing, to laugh, to participate, to become a donkey. This is one of my favorite puppets. Her name is Melody. And, you know, I give she sort of has my personality sometimes, kind of loud and talks a lot. But I often will look in a classroom and I'll say, this person needs to be special today, so I will save a special role in the puppet story for somebody that needs to feel good about themselves and needs to have the other kids in the class clap for them. Because you know how important it is to have people rooting for you when you try something that might be a little scary at first.
Wow.
Yeah.
What are your plans for the next few months?
Well, I signed up to sub in the schools again. And so I've already had somebody ask me if I would sub in their Spanish classes, which of course I love to do. And then my husband and I are both retired, so we have a trip planned to California. So we love to travel, and so we'll be going to California. But and then we've also been directing plays for many, many years, both at the Center for the Arts and now at Creative 360. So we'll be planning for possibly directing next year.
Wow.
So, again, so yeah.
Why do you sometimes use puppets?
Why do I? Well, for many years I was a children's librarian at Grace A. Dow, and we had a wonderful puppet collection. In fact, we used to do programs to promote summer reading program and do puppet shows in this studio right here. And puppets are a way for someone. It's much easier for a kid, a student, who's a little bit shy and unsure of themselves. If they can put a puppet up here in front of their face, people pay attention to the puppets, and they can, kind of, it gives them the confidence. The puppet's saying something, and they don't have to worry about what they are going to say. Although I always find kids in every school, in every classroom, there's always somebody that you give them a puppet, and all of a sudden they take over, and they know exactly what that puppet wants to say and do. And that I find that kind of fun when somebody, I don't have to give them lines, they can come up with this character.
Wow.
So giving people permission to step away from themselves, from being an 8-year-old boy to becoming the alligator or the wolf or somebody like that.
Wow.
Is
This is a lot of fun.
It is. You know what? It's a lot of fun, and it's kind of. I've been doing it for I'm going to be 75 next month.
Wow.
And it's even more fun now to watch the faces of little children. To them, these are real, and they really love it. I've had to do in the schools, like if I go into a classroom, the teachers will leave me levy time at the end of the day where we do the creative dramatics and the puppets and stuff. And it's great for me because the rule is we have to get all of our schoolwork done. And we've got to, we've got to cooperate, and we've got to, and then at the end of the day, well, then I only can bring so many puppets, and there are usually, 30 in the class. So we keep track of who's had a part. We draw sticks or names or something. And then the next time I come, the kids that didn't get a part the other time will get a part. So we have to keep careful records with that.
Wow. Do you have any favorite memories when you do storytelling?
Yeah, favorite memories with storytelling. Yeah, one time I was invited to go up to, it was like Beaverton, to tell some stories. And I have this story that called The Tale of the Tricky Fox. And one of the things I like about it, it's a teacher who saves the day. And the Tricky Fox character has to wear a fun hat and has to be really big. And as the children were coming into the room where I was telling the story, I said to one of the teachers, "Do you have a person in your class that needs to feel special today?" And the teacher pointed me to this young man. He was about a 4th or 5th grader. And I made him the Tricky Fox, and he got to wear the hat, and he got to have this part in this puppet play with the other kids. And when the program was finished, the teacher came up to me with tears in her eyes, and she said, "Can I keep your hat with the fox ears?" She was kidding, of course. And I said, "Why?" She said, "Because that boy that you chose to be the Tricky Fox was just told that he had a reading problem, and that he was dyslexic or something, and that he was really embarrassed about that. And he didn't want the other kids in the class to know that he had a problem." And she said, "Today he got to be the star of the show." And she said, it really made him feel so much better about himself. That's why I tell stories.
Wow. So, it sounds like you have a lot of fun doing this job.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Yes, I do. The only time it's not fun is when there's been somebody that hasn't had their name drawn and they cry, or they get a puppet. The only puppet left is one that they really wanted, the alligator. Alligator is very popular, and they instead had to choose the duck. That's when it's not fun. When there are tears, it's not fun.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining the Countdown Connection.
Thank you very much, too.
You're welcome.
Really enjoyed it.
So this is Cheryl Levy, and my name is Luke Jimray. Thank you for joining Countdown Connection, starting off. Hi, welcome to Countdown Connection. This time we are with Ellie Maxwell, talking about our gardens. So, how did Herbert Henry Dow come up with this idea?
The Dow Gardens is the estate of Herbert and Grace Dow. So they had lots of acreage and built a home in 1899. And at the time that they lived there, it was a working home and farm where Herbert Dow had many apple trees and other fruit and vegetable crops. And they raised their they had 7 children, 6 raised to adulthood, growing up and enjoying the gardens. However, Herbert and Grace Dow lived a long time ago. And in the 70s, the Dow Gardens made a big transition from a private estate home to a public garden. And so it's really the legacy of Herbert and Grace Dow and what their children and grandchildren and future generations even have shared with the community.
Wow. So, when did you come to work for Dow Gardens?
I've worked for Dow Gardens for 16 years. So I'm the staff entomologist. I work with insects, so beekeeping and work in the pollinator garden, pest control, and sharing with the community an enthusiasm for insects.
Wow. Okay. Oh. What was your favorite memories of bugs?
Favorite memories of bugs. I've always loved bugs. As a child, I did notice insects around me. I was that, unusual child that was outside collecting dragonflies and damselflies and lightning bugs at bedtime. And I remember jars of box elder bugs off the side of our house. So as a child, I really enjoyed insects. And I grew up in Freeland, so I have a lot of memories on the river in Freeland, fishing with my dad and enjoying, nature. And insects are the biggest part of nature, right? There's more insects than any other living thing.
So when can people visit the Big Bugs exhibit?
Yeah, so the Big Bugs exhibit is open right now at Dow Gardens, and it's there until October 15th. And so an artist named David Rogers created these sculptures out of wood, things in the environment. And when they say big, we don't just mean a little bit big, we mean very big. The ants are 25 feet long, wow. And there's 3 of them. So yeah, we're encouraging families and community members and visitors to come to the gardens and experience bugs bigger than life.
Wow. That sounds pretty fun to do.
It's very fun.
So, do you have any programs that you're excited about?
So our summer is kind of winding down. We do still have story time on Fridays. And what I'm really excited about is coming up in 2023, we expect our butterfly display to return to the conservatory. So exciting news on that side of St. Andrews. We have been renovating our 1976 conservatory to be more appropriate for butterflies and just reinvented in the plant display. And we will have the same chrysalis and butterfly species that people have grown to know displayed in a newly renovated conservatory.
Wow. I also heard the butterfly house.
Yes, the butterfly house, right, in the butterfly house.
So how's that gonna work?
Yeah, so starting in about February, we get butterflies from all over the world. So farmers raise them anywhere from Florida to Costa Rica to Ecuador to Africa and Asia. And they literally mail us, pack them up and put them in UPS boxes and send them to us. And we open up these chrysalis that have been kept safe for a trip around the world. And we open them safely in our conservatory and display the chrysalis. And we know how metamorphosis goes. Out of those chrysalis come the butterflies. We invite people to watch them as they come out of their chrysalis and dry their wings. And then we release the butterflies to fly around the plants and feed on the nectar and interact with visitors, giving them this experience in the wintertime that they wouldn't have, in snowy Michigan.
Wow. Well, thank you for joining today, Ellie Maxwell.
You're welcome.
This is Ellie Maxwell about Herbert Henry Dow, the history of Dow Gardens. And thank you for letting Ellie Maxwell join today. So thank you for joining Countdown Connection.
You're welcome.
We are out in the community making connections. Let's take a look at our River Days video. Thank you for watching 321 Connection. Good morning, River Days. Welcome to 321 Connection. We will be interviewing people at River Days. I hope you can come. Let's go 321 Connection. What is your favorite thing about River Days or downtown Midland?
I like that it brings Midland together. This event is wonderful.
Okay, what I love about River Days is that we bring everyone in our community together just to really be together and to create greater community. So I love that River Days is for everyone to come together.
Just getting outside and being with everybody and just having fun.
Seeing all the events, I think their favorite was the lemon slushy and apple slushy. They were too small for some of the rock climbing wall and the bungee thing. So we're going to go up and have some dinner now.
Yeah.
Oh, what's been your favorite thing about River Days so far?
Everything.
Everything, he said. No, we're loving it. It's a great event. A lot going on. Everybody's in a good mood, and the weather's great.
I agree. So, what is your name?
Daisy. Lily.
Welcome to the show. Where are you from?
Auburn. Auburn.
What is your favorite thing about River Days or downtown Midland?
All the activities. All the activities.
I like all the different activities they have to offer. They've got wonderful places to shop and eat, and River Days is an awesome way to get together with friends and family.
We've seen a lot of friends down here so far since we've been here. The food is great at the Lions chicken dinner, and the music's awesome too.
Well, I like entertainment like this. I like talking to friends like you, and my church is here, and so I guess altogether it's the people that I like.
I like downtown Midland because it's small and walkable, and then this is my first time at River Days, so I'm just checking it out.
My favorite part about River Days is just the sense of community it brings, because here in the smaller town like Midland, you don't expect to see bigger events like this. So it's just nice to see people come together like this.
Wow.
the fun. Everybody's just having a good time, and out by the water and the view and the people. Everybody's, it's awesome out here.
All the games and stuff. Cool.
My favorite thing about River Days is that families can come and have a full day of fun and experience everything that River Days has to offer with nothing in their pockets. That they can come and enjoy live music and great food and the kids zone, and that it's not going to cost families an arm and a leg. Hopefully not even a pinky finger.
I like that you had both of the questions, River Days and Downtown Midland, because they go hand in hand. I love that you can have a little bit of everything for everyone here. Like you can play some fun teenager games like cornhole and get a henna tattoo, or go jump on some jumpers, and then the little kids have fun things to do, and adults like me have bands I can enjoy and super yummy food. There's just something for everyone. And then also, after you're done, you can go up to Downtown Midland, or you can have a meal in Downtown Midland and then come down. So it's very much a collaborative effort that we do with Downtown Midland too. So
I'll speak for me. My favorite thing is getting back out and meeting my friends and colleagues out in the community, and meeting great people like yourself, and being involved in something in the community.
My favorite thing is the wonderful restaurants, but tonight I'm really excited about seeing the hot air balloons. And the kids are too.
Air balloons?
Do you have a favorite thing?
No. What's your favorite? Talk to the mic.
When we go to restaurants with our family and places in downtown.
The yummy ice cream downtown? Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Favorite thing to me is a lot of activities and a lot of live music, and you can do a lot of things here and connect with different people. So far, I love all the music and the food. So thank you.
Well, I would have to say it was the hot dog eating contest that was held here earlier today. I know my limitations, but those guys didn't have any. So it was a lot of fun.
Did you win?
I didn't. I called the winner, one of them, one of the co-champions. So a lot was fun had by all.
Just being out here with all the people and out by the water, and nice music and good food that they have.
My favorite thing about River Days is that you get an opportunity to see a lot of people that maybe you haven't seen during the summer, some friends, some family, and I really enjoy getting out and seeing this many people and seeing all the families kind of come out together and enjoy maybe their last hurrah before school starts back up.
Well, the zip line is the scariest. Well, wall climbing would be originally, but I'm just a little bit too low for it. So zip line.
And we love the afterglow. It's beautiful to watch.
Oh, I love the rides and stuff. Yeah. This time, not the afterglow and fireworks. They're not as good as this.
How has Midland helped you thrive or live your best life?
Well, I'm a self-described townie, so I grew up here, and this has been home for me forever. So it's the only life I know, and I think it's wonderful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, Midland has been such a wonderful place for our children to grow up, to make friends, to be able to contribute and give back to the community. And I've had so many opportunities in Midland. It's just been a joy to live here, and I'm just thankful for all that Midland does.
Well, my wife was born and raised here, and Midland's just a great community to live in.
We live and work here.
Yeah.
And
the kids
Midland
were born here.
Midland has lots to offer. Families, great schools, hospital.
Just a great community.
Great community.
Well, thank you for your time.
By being such a great community with so many friendly people, it's a great place to live and work and raise a family. We love it.
That's fun. How about you?
I like everything.
That sounds fun. Thank you for joining.
Hey, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Like Kurt said, we've been here for 25 years, so we raised our family here, our two boys, and it's just a wonderful place for our family and community. We've enjoyed it.
It's an awesome town to raise a family. We've met a lot of nice people here. We've really enjoyed the last 25 years here.
Well, again, it's the people. I find them uplifting to talk with various people and learn about them and share stories. So it's good.
My wife is from Midland, so I would say that adds a really big part to my life and helps me thrive.
I own a small business, and the local vendors and just some people around Midland have been super supportive and helping me grow that over the last few years. So that.
Midland is just, it's all around a great place. You know, a lot of friendly people. Every time you meet somebody, they're willing to give you a handshake or a hi, you doing, and that's about it.
How has Midland helped you thrive?
Probably school.
Cool.
I am so grateful to Midland's wonderful school system. I have 3 kids, and I didn't realize how important that was to a community until I had them. And I feel really safe sending them to school. Their teachers have always been marvelous. They always have a choice of after-school activities to do, and it just makes me happy to see them interact with their teachers and classmates. I think that they're going to thrive as well because of it.
That's a really good question, too. I love that Midland has such a neighboring community. I remember moving into my house, and it has a park in the backyard, and I remember my neighbors within the first week coming to say hello and introducing them to me, and it really made me feel at home right away.
So we love Midland. 4 seasons of Midland, very inclusive, very welcoming community. It reminds me a lot of the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. We like coming downtown to the Tridge. There's always fun activities to do. Just a very fun. It's got a lot of great library, the Performing Arts Center. It's just a lot of different activities to do to enrich yourself in Midland.
Because like I said, I'm from Bay City, and Midland and Bay City is very close to each other. It's like sister or brother city. So for what I do in Bay City, it's actually very connected with how I can ground myself in Midland, because I do events in both cities. So to be here, to do events here, allow me to connect with the community, to understand what the community needs, and for me to kind of bring my healing practice into the community. So that's really, really beautiful. So.
Well, thank you for joining.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
That's a great question, Luke. There's a lot of ways I could answer that question, but since I grew up here, my wife Sue and I are raising our family here. My kids have gone to some of the same schools that I've attended: Midland High, Northeast, Chestnut Hill. It just makes me so proud to see how our family's grown here in town, in the town that I grew up in. So I do thrive with that.
Probably the school systems, and then available to our children and our kids, and the inclusive environment that we have here in this town.
Well, coming from a small town and moving to Midland, it's been a little bit of a culture shock in a good way. There's the museum, the Center for the Arts. You get to go to the library. It's very much bigger than what we came from in West Branch, and just all the different culture of the food, and just culturing my kids a little bit more than just a really small town. Yet we feel really safe in Midland, and we just really think it's very family oriented.
So one of the things is Midland offers a lot of opportunities. So you have a lot of resources and a lot of community activities that you can benefit from. Personally, I have benefited most by saving 2 hours on commute time, which I would otherwise have in a big city, and that lets me put those 2 hours to something more useful.
Well, thank you for coming in Midland from India. Thank you very much.
We love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.